You are at Lake Rant, where I rant about whatever my $15 a month plus patrons want me to rant about. You can get one of these by being one of those. This one's for Reela, who says, rant about that punk bitch motherfucker RCAnime. You know, really struggle to have even an opinion on RCAnime because I have not been watching his videos for the longest time. And he apparently hasn't been making them for the longest time because it's been like a year since his most recent few videos. And at the time that I called him a punk bitch motherfucker, famously, it was in my shit talking anime YouTubers, and like the basically what had spurned that rant to happen was that on some podcasts, I don't even remember the details. He had been like slagging off my Asterisk War series and just like kind of making snide remarks about me that I did not appreciate. So I went on a gigantic rampage, basically calling out everybody who I had thought had made sort of snide remarks about me that I did not appreciate, or just done things that I thought was shit. And in the process, I was mocking his video style because of the fact that he plays like he's one of those editors who likes to show like really pretty pieces of animation with like really pretty pieces of music and create this AMV vibe. But then he starts his videos by saying like, "Hey guys, RCAnime here," and he has like a really nasally, nerdy kind of voice that totally sullies the tone that he's trying to build. And it's like, it's not that it's necessarily his fault. It's just like you shouldn't try to build a tone of being this super smooth feel if you don't have a smooth voice. Like, I wouldn't try to do that, you know? I would not try to like create a tone of video that I don't sound good on. But I, felt that that was the case for him. And just overall his like pronunciations and stuff I think are like kind of wonky. Um, but beyond that, like in terms of the actual content of his videos, I usually just found them kind of uninteresting or vague. And I had criticisms of some of the production where he made decisions that I thought didn't make sense, such as there's one video where he's talking about New York and its representation in anime. And he's showing like all these scenes of New York from all these different shows, but like he's playing, music in the background, and like one of the songs he plays is a Kendrick Lamar beat, who is like the king of Compton, LA, in California. And I was just like, if you're gonna have like this level of presentation, why not put the attention to detail to like choose a Wu-Tang Clan beat or like a band, a rap group that's from fucking New York, as opposed to Kendrick. That kind of little stuff bothers me just because it seems like it's so integral to what you're trying to do with these videos. So those are criticisms I had of him before, and I hadn't really watched him in a long time. So I checked out one of his recenter videos. They're all old at this point, but it was about the influences of Naoko Yamada, who's one of my own favorite directors. And he talks about 5 different directors who were influences on Naoko Yamada. I assume she talked about all of them in interviews. He only actually mentions that one of them had been directly referenced by her. I would assume he wouldn't be so brazen as to just assume connection, like, that she was influenced by things that she hadn't said so. But I would have liked it if he actually made that clear, that she had, mentioned all these people before. But, like, basically what he does in the video is attempt to take each of these directors and prove through what she has done in her work how she was influenced by these people specifically. And I find this to be kind of a treacherous way to go with a video, because on the one hand, if you can find direct visual references, like stuff that is clearly taken from those movies, or if you can find like places where she said that something was directly inspired by that movie, then you can build something very convincing. But if you're talking about like vague stylistic ideas that these movies have that are also present in her shows, then it raises the question of like, well, was it specifically that movie that influenced that shot? Like, could it be that she has plenty of other influences she hasn't talked about yet, or that there is a more, influences from other realms that could have influenced it, stuff that's not just films? Could she have, combined multiple influences deliberately in the construction of this one image? Or, like, was this one not even directly influenced by that stuff? Like, it's very hard to talk about how, like, somebody was directly influenced for, like, one scene if there's not a clear through line, like a deliberate reference, because, you know, so much of what we create is informed by everything we've ever consumed. And, like, I think he acknowledges this in the video. I think that it is presenting the idea that, like, these are just five, you know, there are many more. But I wasn't really sold on all of his connections between them, where, you know, he would show a movie and talk about what that movie does, and then show the scene from a Naoko Yamada show and talk about how she did something similar. But it wasn't always like a really apparent thing, or like his description of each is vague. Like, it's not that they stage things in this one specific way, is that they stage things in a way which creates this emotion, and she also stages things in a way which creates a similar emotion, and I don't know if I feel those emotions as they're being described by him. That's sort of the level I'm at with the video, where, like, on some level I'm intrigued to hear about her influences and to see potential, like, you know, ideas of how it has manifested in her work. But I'm not, like, convinced that these images you're showing me are a direct, you know, comparison to these movies. It's loose, you know? Maybe that's fine. I wasn't as interested in it as I would have hoped, you know, and I also just don't think his writing and presentation is that tight. But nonetheless, you know, I appreciate that he's doing something very different from other anime YouTubers. Like, nobody else has a video exactly like that, you know. And it's an interesting angle to come at talking about a creator from. But, you know, I just was left wanting for more in the execution, I guess. So, yeah, there you go.